there are strict rules. They are very clear. Do not smoke in the construction site, but they still do it. So it's not about the rules, it's about whether they are enforced. And that's interesting as well, because I made a comment about this on social media, because Hong Kong people are in a way quite naive. I do think it's a cultural difference. I've heard this theory of like fear-based culture versus shame-based culture. So I don't know, no, guilt. Sorry, guilt? Oh shit, I forgot which is which. But basically in Western Christianized countries, you do things, you don't do things because there will be consequences. Whereas in, like, at least where I'm from, I can't speak for the rest of my region, but where I'm from, in general, you don't do things because you will be shamed for it. People will see you doing wrong things and they would shame you. That's the idea. Like you're afraid of people seeing you as a bad person and shaming you. So hold on, I need to like charge this light. So that's why there is a certain naivete, I think, within my culture. Not everyone, but like in general, where people think if it's illegal, that means it won't be done. But sadly, that's not how things work. And people, if even if something's illegal, if people think they're justified, they will do that. So that sadly, that's true. That's why that's a pessimist thing. But yeah, and also I guess that's partly our Confucian like culture, Confucianist based culture, because everyone's taught to be proper and do what you should do, I guess. It's a very general sentiment. I don't know how to put that in words because I'm not a philosopher, but I just feel like that could be like a Christianity versus Confucianism thing, where yeah, you're more concerned about how people see you and how people perceive you in society, and that's not even limited to like criminal activities, just how you behave in general. Like, let's say you are very drunk. I guess you're very drunk, then you would do anything. But okay, let's say you're in public, you want to do something that is probably not very proper, but if you think you won't have consequences for it, you will do it. In like in British culture anyway. That's why we have obnoxious football hooligans, right? When you go on a train at night after a match, you get like really loud people singing football anthems and things. You won't see that in Hong Kong in general. Again, don't want to speak for everyone every time, but in general, that's not really a thing as much, because those people would feel like it is not the right thing to do. If I do it, then I would be perceived as a shameful person in society. Even if nobody's actually shaming them, they would feel their own shame. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's like when I was little and wore a helmet riding my bike versus kids who were cool and not having a helmet. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, sometimes I ride without a helmet as well. But the difference being, like, if you don't wear a helmet, you bear the consequences, right? And it's also about the culture and the infrastructure. I mean, don't get me started with like infrastructure talk, but you know, in the Netherlands, people don't really need a helmet because the infrastructure is so safe. You can just ride in the bike lanes and you'll be fine. But in the UK, I don't know where you are, I can't tell. But in the UK, you have to wear a helmet because you have to ride on car roads, which I do all the time. But then if you get hit, I mean, if you're on a bike, you get hit by a car, then the car is mostly fine, right? The driver's going to be fine. But if you smoke in a construction site that happens to be dangerous, happens to be not properly safeguarded, then what you get is like hundreds of people dead. So I've seen someone saying, I almost prefer drug users because, like, not me, I'm quoting someone, right? Drug users are better because they only harm themselves. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I don't understand drugs as well as this statement would appear to. But yeah, there is something in that. I actually hate that, especially when I'm traveling alone. It makes me feel a bit unsafe, but also people being loud Yeah, exactly. I think we've spoken about that. Just people being annoying in public. Um, and also, I guess that also relates to catcalling, right? Again, I don't speak for everyone, but my impression is catcalling is not as prevalent in feminist discourse in Hong Kong as it is in the West. I'm sure it happens. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it happens. And definitely, my partner has been sexually harassed in public, which is really sad. But I don't hear people talking about it as much. So either people need to talk about it more, or it's like, as I surmise, it's not as much of a thing because people feel more shame when they're in public. Yeah, I mean, like on average. I mean, definitely there's shameless people everywhere, obviously, but on average, people feel more shame in our society just because of the way our culture works. Sino-Taiwanese American historic. That's a long descriptor. Sun Long Ki says that Chinese culture lacks the Abrahamic concept of rules beyond physical existence, so that the universal social contract does not exist. What does that mean? That's too much for me. I've had a very long day. You got to explain it to me, Iskander. I'm very stupid today. I need to sleep early as well, just because of the radio thing. The rules beyond physical existence. Oh, really? Okay, right. In Sinophone communities... Okay, so the universal social contract does not exist in Sinophone communities. Rules are negotiable. When no one is looking or amongst 自己人, it means that you can do whatever you want. As universal rules beyond concrete human relations are... I do agree, yeah. I do agree. I think that is to an extent true as well for Hong Kong society. Again, Hong Kong is a very weird Frankenstein monster between like British and Chinese cultures and traditions. So there's definitely like elements of both of that. So what you're basically saying is within people you feel like they are your own. The rules are more negotiable. It's all about like people agreeing on things. Whereas with people outside of your group, it might be like, actually, I don't know if I understand it correctly, but my understanding is, the shame thing. I guess like within your own people, you would do things as far as you feel not shamed for. So even if there are rules, as long as people will not shame you for it, at least according to you, then you might do them. Am I understanding it correctly? Wear a helmet. Yeah, I do. I sorry. I only don't wear a helmet when I forget to. Sometimes, like when I go home, the helmet is in my bag, and then like halfway home, I'm like, wait, hold on, there should be something on my head, shouldn't it? And I have to stop somewhere and put it back on. I've seen it's called public versus private risks. Like, do your bad decisions affect just you? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I see what you mean. So private risk, as in things that only affect you. And don't even get me on harassment. I don't talk about it much because I don't necessarily want to, but it's all, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's easier for me, obviously, as a man to discuss harassment from an outsider perspective. I mean, well, no, I'm not going to get into that. No, not this publicly. But hint, yeah.